What's up guys, welcome in this new video. I hope that all of you are doing great. In this video I will do something quite different than what I normally do. So I will bring you guys along with me in my trading to explain you guys a trade that I took this morning. So I will put the screenshot right over here. So as you can see, this was a pretty good trade. I closed in a nice profit and it was quite a fast trade as well. So it was a short-term trade. Normally, if you guys know a little bit about my trading, I'm more of a swing trader, but this was a short-term trade. I don't very often take those trades, but I really like the setup, so I just decided this morning to jump in this trade and it ended up being a pretty good trade. So a few things I would just want to make it clear before I start this video and before that we take a look at the chart, because yes, we will go on the charts. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see that. A lot of you guys were hoping I would eventually do those videos. So here we are today. Now, as I said, before we do this, a few things I want to make clear. First of all, if you guys have been following me for quite some time on YouTube, you probably remember that I used to basically explain more my trades and that I used to share with you guys my analysis and what basically led me to take the trades. So that was probably, I would say, 6 months ago that I was doing that. I did, few videos like that, and the reason why I stopped doing those videos is simply because I was feeling like I was giving a little too much away for free on YouTube. And the reason why I was feeling like that is because, well, as you guys know, I have a course that I do, right? And I work every day and I trade every day with my students. Those people have always been and they will always be my priority. And so by giving all of those analysis on YouTube, I was feeling like I was, let's say, cheating a little bit on my students. And of course I was not like, giving everything. I was not like covering everything that was included in the analysis, but I was still feeling like that. So I decided to stop doing those videos and just keep, my trading and my analysis only for the course. So that was basically the thought process. Now, since then, I've received many requests to cover the charts, to talk about, technical analysis, to really bring you guys in my trading, to show you the type of trades that I do and to explain my trades. Now, in this video, as I said, I will show you guys one of my trade, but I will not be able to cover the whole analysis and talk about every little details that came in place for me to take the trade. And the reason why is because, well, once again, I want to keep a lot of information for my students. Those people are my priority, as I said, and this will never change. So I want to keep that for my student. And the second reason as well is simply because you guys could not understand everything about the analysis if you haven't been through the course. And the reason why is simply that if you don't have all the theory behind my trading, and if you don't understand exactly how I look at the market and things like that, well, you will not even be able to understand what I would say in this video. You will not even be able to really see what I mean when I will explain the trade and things that are related to the trade. So I want to keep this video relatively simple. Now, I will still try to give you guys value and still show you a little tips and tricks, let's say, that came in place with this trade. So I want to keep, relatively simple, but at the same time push a little bit. And the reason why as well is simply because I want this video to be understandable for everybody. So even the new traders who are watching this video, because I know that, a lot of you guys are actually beginning in your trading and you are just starting this journey. So I want you guys to also be able to understand this video and to learn something from it, which is why I want to keep it simple too. So will I be doing more of these videos in the future? Honestly, I have no idea. It fully depends on you guys. So if I see that this video gets a lot of good feedback, if I see that there's a lot of like in this video, for example, I might consider doing more of these videos. Now, I'm not planning to cover all my trades on YouTube and things like that, because once again, I'm already doing this in Reversal Master, my online course, okay? And I want to keep this for the course only. So I will not be covering everything. Though I don't know if I do make other videos like that. I don't know at what basically scale I will be doing them. So honestly, I'm just testing this right now. I'm making this video to test, to see how you guys react, to see how I react myself, how people take this video, what they can learn from it, if it's actually valuable, and if I share can actually help you guys. So I will just wait and see basically the feedback that I get on this video, and if I see that you guys like it, I will consider doing other videos similar to this one. So with all of that being said, let's finally jump into the chart and take a look at this trade. So we are on GBP yen, right, as you guys can see, and the trade that I took, it was this morning, and I already closed the trade. So this trade lasted for about 3 hours. It was a very shortened trade, as I showed you guys, well, as I said, basically, and now I will bring you along in the analysis. Now, as I said, I will try to keep it as simple as possible for everybody to kind of understand at least the general idea. So we are on GBP, and now if we go on the higher time frame, let's go on the 4 hour, we can even go on the daily actually. We see that we have been trending back up here for quite some time, and it has been going very, very aggressive. So since the beginning of September, as you guys can see, we're going up, and it's going very, very strong, especially from those level right here. So you see that we got basically a very strong push up right here, we got a pullback right over here, and we made another push up here. Now, one of the key here in this trade, and one of the main concepts that you guys have to understand, is that the market never only goes in one direction forever, right? I mean, the markets, like, they're not spaceships, you know, like the moves are not like, you know, sprinters, they are more like marathons, we could say, right? And so what do I mean by that is, let's say that, you know, we're looking at a move like that goes up. Well, of course, when it goes up, and we can go on the 4 hour, we will see that better, right? When something goes up, for example, this piece right over here, well, when it goes up, you see that it's not going like this, you know, like when it goes up, there is a lot of, you know, up and down in this move, right? So that's what we can see here, we can see the same thing here, and you can see the same thing everywhere. So nothing always moves, you know, in a straight line, like, you know, those things are quite rare, let's say, on the market. And most of the time you get moves either up and down, but you get pullbacks within those moves. You know, sometimes it's a little more aggressive, sometimes it's a little more slow, etc, etc. So that's an important concept to understand. And so here basically, since the beginning of October, we have been going in this up move, and as you can see, it is going very, very strong. We got some pullbacks right over here, but nothing really crazy, and we came back basically at this around those levels right over here at 140 and 141, right? So we are basically around those levels, and this is where my trade took place. So after a very strong up move like that, there are ways that we can know when this up move will basically slow down a little bit and start going in the opposite direction. So this is a little more advanced, as I said, but there are ways that we can know that, and there are ways that we can analyze the chart in order to spot basically those moments where the price could stop going. So that's basically the idea. So after that, when we came back to those levels, this is when I started looking for a sell opportunity. So I started looking for a sell precisely after this down move here. So if we go on the 1 hour, we will see that better. So after this down move right over here, this is when I started looking for a sell setup, because as I said, I was expecting at least a pullback, basically a pause in the up move that we were getting on the bigger time frame. So after that, after this down move, you see that it continued going up, not very aggressive, right? It started being more slow. If we compare, for example, this piece with this piece, you can clearly see the difference, right? This is very strong and this is very slow. And then we started getting some downside. Now, this was a trade on the GBP pairs. And what is important to keep in mind is that right now there is a lot of uncertainty around the GBP. Why is that? Well, it's because mainly of the Brexit, right? So if you guys have been following the news a little bit, well, the Brexit is basically that the UK is trying to leave the Euro, right? The European, you know, let's say the European group, right? We could say. So I don't know exactly what word I should use here, but you get what I mean. So the UK is trying to leave the Eurozone, I think that's the right word. And so basically that creates a lot of uncertainty on the GBP, and especially recently because We have Boris Johnson that is trying to either get an election or get a deal. There is a potential as well for a no deal. So there are a lot of different ways that this situation on the fundamental standpoint could develop, and this creates a lot of uncertainty on the market. And this is why in the last few months we have seen a lot of volatility on the GBP pairs because of all this talk around Brexit and all the uncertainty that there is relating the UK and by extension the GBP currency. So that's basically the idea on the fundamental standpoint. So whenever that I trade GBP, I always have to be careful and be aware of that because, as I said, it could create volatility and move quite fast the market. So that's one thing that is important to keep in mind. Now, if we come back to the chart. Right over here, so this was basically 2 days ago. This is when we had a vote, an important vote on the Brexit, and it created some volatility. So if you see this bar right over here, right, this red bar, so we got some volatility 2 days ago. After that, on the pound, we kept going down a little bit, and then we started pulling back up here, as you guys can see, right? So we made a relief after this down movement right over here, and after this relief, what I was basically looking for, so this is when my trade happened this morning. After this relief, I was looking for another potential down move right over here to come back to those levels. Now, as I said, there are many reasons of why I was looking at that and why I was thinking that the pound yen would come back down, but as I said, I want to keep this video very simple. Well, I'm still trying to give you guys value. As you can see, I talk about the fundamentals and things like that, which I don't normally do, but the idea is that you guys understand the overall trade and why did I get into the trade as well. So I was basically looking for one more there after this push back up right over here. So basically this morning when I got into the chart, we can even use the replay tool if we want, and I will remove this. So when I got into the chart this morning, we were looking like that. So as you can see, we were starting to break out, right, but not really aggressive. So as you can see, it's it's the 5 a.m. bar right over here. So this is when I got into the chart. So the market was looking like that this morning basically. So I saw that we were breaking out of the trend. Now, one thing that is important here to understand, so a little bonus for you guys, a little tip as well here, is that just because we're breaking out of this trend, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going down, or it doesn't mean that it's going up. Like this trend here is pretty much irrelevant. I just put the trend here to have a general view of where the market would go, but it's not the indication for me to take a trade. And I really want to make this clear once again, because I know that a lot of people are thinking that I trade according to the lines that you see on the chart, but no, it's not that at all. I don't trade because of the tools. I don't enter the market because of the tools. Those are quite irrelevant for me when it comes to taking a trade. So when I take a trade, it is because of other reasons, which I will not talk about in this video. So anyway, let's go back into the chart right now. So it was like that this morning. So if we speed up a little bit here, you see that we started pulling back here a little bit. So now for me, this started to look interesting because basically with this little movement here that we see, I was looking at a potential move back down after that. And it's not, I mean, the basic concept here is simply that it's similar to what I said before at the beginning, right? Like when we get a strong move up, eventually we will pull back. Now the question is, how will the pullback look like? How long will it be? On what pattern will it be, right? Like there are many different questions that we can talk about the pullbacks and go very deep about them. But the basic idea is that we will get a pullback after a strong move. And this is exactly what we got right over here, as you can see, right? So we got a nice down move, pullback, and then we continued. So I was basically expecting something very similar right over here. So after that, let's drop on the 15 minutes. Okay, so this is how the chart is looking right now. So let's fast forward it. And right over here, this is when I got into the trade. So my entry my entry, let's say, rules got triggered right over here, and this is where I decided to get out of the trade. So I took a sell right over here, exactly at those levels. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was right over here with this one, right? So not this low, because it depends on the trade setup that you get, but sometimes you can either enter the trade here or wait for the break of the low, just like this one here. So you see that if you would have entered here, for example, you would have done better than entering here, but sometimes it's better to wait because this could have come back up here. So for this trade, I took the trade right over here with this candle here, as you guys can see. And what I was looking for was basically a retest of these levels here, as I showed before. And so after that, after taking the trade, well, I will just fast forward, but you guys will see that it went pretty fast and reached the target. So we're close right over here, and there we go. This is when we reached the target, right? So I was waiting for the break, not just the test of the low right here, but the break, and I decided to get out of the trade. I think it was right over here. And the reason why I didn't take my profit at the low is because when we break out of the important level, such as this one, the market can do two things. It can either reverse back up, or it could keep pushing down very strongly. This is a condition that we often see happening on the chart. And so in this situation, as you can see, the price went back up, so I decided to close the trade here. So overall, that was a very short-term trade, as you guys can see. Normally, I don't like to take those short-term trades, to be honest with you guys, but in this situation, I really like the setup, and I thought that this was a good opportunity. And as you saw, well, it was a good decision of me to take the trade. So that is basically what happened with this trade and the explanation behind it. Now, once again, just to make it clear for you guys, there are more to it, right? Like there's a lot more knowledge that comes into play with my trading, and there is a lot of things that you guys could understand, such as I said, the patterns, the pullbacks, how long they are, the fundamental ideas that I talk a lot about the fundamentals, but that's basically the idea. And of course the indicators, right? As you guys know, I use indicators, which I have right over here, which I did not talk about in this video. But yeah, so that's basically the idea with the analysis of the GBP yen. I hope you guys understood, what I shared with you. As I said, I wanted to keep the video as clear as possible for even the new traders out there. That was my goal, simply to, give back to the community and help the new people who might be interested in getting into trading. So yeah, I hope you guys once again enjoyed this video, and I hope that you learned something. If you would like to see more of these videos in the future, as I said, it depends on you guys. If I get a nice feedback, I will consider doing other videos. If not, well, it will just have been a fun video to watch and to do as well for me. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. I would truly appreciate it, and you can also share the video around you if you actually got value out of it. I would also appreciate it a lot. So on that, take care, trade with care, manage money well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.